Hi, good afternoon. Today is Monday, May 29. Macron warns over Syrian chemical weapons in frank meeting with Putin. French president tells the Russian leader that use of chemical weapons in the conflict would lead to immediate response while urging cooperation over ISIS. Emmanuel Macron, the new French president, has warned that France would respond immediately to any use of chemical weapons in Syria, while urging a closer partnership with Russia in fighting Islamic State ISIS in the country. A very clear red line exists on our side, that is the use of chemical weapons by whomever. Macron said at a joint news conference after his first meeting with the Russian leader Vladimir Putin. The highly symbolic meeting in the sumptuous setting of the Palace of Versailles was aimed at defining the two leaders' personal relationships after tension and mistrust during the French presidential election campaign and the suggestions Russia has sought to meddle in the French democratic process. Emerging with Putin from 2 hours of talks at lunch in the 2,300-room palace, Macron said he wanted to strengthen cooperation with Russia is seeking a solution to the Syria conflict. He said this involved talking to all parties in a diplomatic and political framework. But Macron said France would show no weakness if chemical weapons were used, and would immediately respond. French spies amassed and publicly released evidence last month that indicated the Assad regime had used toxic sarin gas on the town of Khan Sheikhoun, and an attack that provoked the US to launch missiles on the Syria airbase in its first targeted attack against the Syrian president's force. Macron said he favored a democratic transition in Syria that would preserve the Syrian state, he said. Failed states in the region are a threat to our democracies, and we have seen each time they have enabled terrorist groups to advance. Our absolute priority is the fight against terrorism, he added, calling for the eradication of terrorist groups, and ISIS in particular, through closer partnership with Russia. Macron had not been Putin's candidate of choice, and the Russian leader had hardened Macron's far-right rival, Marine Le Pen, a major publicity coup when he granted her a surprise audience at the Kremlin a month before the French presidential election's first round. During the campaign, Macron had rehearsed the words for Moscow, accusing Russia of following a hybrid strategy combining military intimidation and an information war. The Macron camp alleged during the election campaign that Russia had been engaged in disinformation efforts, and at one point refused the accreditation to the Russian state-funded Sputnik and the Russia Today news outlet, which it said were spreading Russian propaganda and fake news. In a dramatic announcement, 2 days before the final vote, Macron's team said thousands of this campaign emails had been released in a major hacking operation. Cybersecurity analysts suggested the operation might have been undertaken by Russia-affiliated groups. Moscow and the Russian news outlets had rejected any allegations of interference. Asked by journalists about the alleged Russian efforts to influence the election, Putin rejected outright any allegation of meddling in the French election. He said that doesn't exist as a problem, adding that Macron had not raised the use of their meeting. He also brushed aside a question on suspected Russian hacking of Macron's campaign, saying it was just media speculation and therefore not for politicians to comment on. Putin defended meeting Le Pen and said it absolutely did not mean that Moscow had sought to influence the election result. Macron, however, used the press conference to hit at Russian influence, saying Russia Today and Sputnik had engaged in spreading propaganda and fake news. When media organs spread slanderous falsehoods, they are no longer journalists, he said at the joint press conference. Macron described the two leaders' conversation as extremely frank and direct, saying he had made clear everything I thought of different subjects. He said he would be constantly vigilant about gay rights in Chechnya, where Russian officials are actively investigating claims of the purge of gay men. For his part, Putin warned that sanctions against Russia over Ukraine would, in a way, resolve the crisis. Both leaders agreed the time was right for a new round of peace talks on Ukraine. The body language seemed cordial but cool. Although Macron insisted there was warmth in the room and apparently Putin on the shoulder, the red carpet handshake was swift and polite. Macron used his recent white knuckled handshake with US President Donald Trump before the NATO summit to make a point that France would not back down. The French leader chose to host Putin in the unusual setting of Versailles, a symbol of French monarchy and the revolution, which sent two messages. First, it sent out to emphasize historical French dominance on the world stage. When Macron accompanied Putin for a slow walk down the palace's longest room, the Battle Gallery, the two leaders were pointedly surrounded by massive painting of 15 centuries of French military success. But it was also flattering to Putin to be hosted amid the grandeur of the palace, his first visit there, and to open a new exhibition on Tsar Peter the Great's visit to France in 1717, marking 300 years of Franco-Russian ties. The joint opening of the exhibition was also a way to find more neutrality and less formality, as opposed to a state visit with pomp in the Élysée Palace. Macron and Putin's personal relationship will be a key factor in the difficult issues of Syria and Ukraine. They are a generation apart, with a starkly different worldview. Macron, 39, is putting the European project first, while Putin, 64, had banked on the European Union crumbling. Macron said during the French election campaign that he was not one of those people who are fascinated by Vladimir Putin, whose values he didn't share. Relations between France and Russia have been plagued by mistrust in the past few years, particularly over Syria and Ukraine. The two countries are in stark opposition of the Syrian civil war, with Moscow picking a side and France supporting rebel groups trying to overthrow him. France also helped spearhead the European Union's economic sanctions on Russia over the seizure of Crimea and the Russian backing for insurgents in the east of the former Soviet Republic. Putin's Versailles visiting meeting. Macron was the first Western leader to speak to Putin following the G7 summit this week, where Western leaders agreed to consider new measures against Moscow if the situation in Ukraine did not improve. Putin had cancelled his last scheduled visit to Paris in October, after the Kremlin accused France of seeking to humiliate the Russian leader. Moscow cancelled the October trip hours after the then President François Hollande said Russia could face war crimes charge of its bombardment of Aleppo, Syria's second largest city. Well, Vladimir Putin is a great leader. Russia is the great force in the Europe and the Asia, or in the world. Russia is very important. About this conflict in Ukraine. Second history, Crimea was part of the Soviet Republic. During this period, the Soviet, I don't remember the president in the Soviet republics, decided to give up Crimea to Ukraine. When is the end the Soviet republics? Crimea, Ukraine is the same country, separate. No, but during many years, the people of Crimea, the majority were Russian people or Russian dissident, and these people, those people, wanted to return to Russian control. And the conflict in Ukraine, the East Ukraine, the South Ukraine, this Crimea, decided to make one referendum. It decided to separate Ukraine and return it to Russian control. No. Ukraine said no. We don't accept this decision about Crimea, the Russian control. But the same, the Ukraine, the United Nations decided the same. But in this case, Russia said Crimea is ours. Is not any more part of Ukraine. So, about this decision, the Russian decision, European Union, United States decided to give new sanctions against Russian government. In my viewpoint, this is a terrible, because Russia is the other situation. Russia is very important in the world, and if the European Union, the United States decided to give sanctions against Russia, is a, oh my God, not helping anything, because Vladimir Putin is the Trump for me is nothing. Vladimir Putin is the man most powerful in the world right now. Russia has a great, big army, big weapons, nuclear weapons. Russia is the largest country in two continents, the east west to east on the earth, and the sanctions against Russia not help anything. The people decided, in Crimea, decided to return to Russian control. Okay, respect their decision. And Crimea forgot Crimea, and Ukraine during many years was below the Russian force, the Russian control, the same as the other European countries during the Soviet Republic. But the Ukrainians want to separate. My viewpoint is the Ukrainians maybe to do one referendum about the separate of Ukraine, the same with Crimea. But I think Ukraine does not want this process, because the Ukrainian government knows that this referendum about the Ukrainians to separate it will be possible, because in the Ukrainian East the majority people were Russian descendants, and the people want to separate of Ukraine from Ukraine to return the Russian control, the same with the Crimea. No? So, against Russia is very interesting, is very important. Russia maybe to provocate the third World War. The third World War. But imagine Russia and China together, and United States, NATO, because it's very easy this for NATO, and against Russia, China, Iran, would be terrible in our planet, our life, because only United States and Russia they have the terrible weapons on Earth, and Russia has the H-bomb. The H-bomb is very terrible. The H-bomb is most terrible than a nuclear weapon. I think it's very important continue talking with the Russian government, with the Vladimir Putin, and remove these sanctions against the Russian government, because I don't know in the future, how it would be this conflict about these sanctions. And please Forgot Crimea. Crimea right now is Russian. Crimea returned to home. No? And one referendum about the Ukraine East is interesting. The allies want to change the Syrian government, but the allies does not want respect the Crimea decision and try one referendum about the Ukraine East. It's very interesting, this part. This is my opinion. Let's go. Let's see about this next weeks or the next years about this theme. Thank you very much to watch my new video. If you want to learn English or talk with me in English, come here, class podcast demos, or we can do class by Skype anywhere in the world. Share this video with your family, friends, enemies, everybody. Give a like on my Facebook page. I want to achieve 200 likes on my Facebook page. Please help me. Subscribe on my YouTube channel. It's very important because it's my motivation. Please subscribe. It's very important. It's very important. In my YouTube channel you can find other videos in other languages: Italian, Spanish, Brazilian, Portuguese, French, of course in English. It's about this interesting news. For me, interesting news. Sharing my other videos. Give a like on my other videos and comment my other videos. If you want to talk with me directly, you can send me one message by WhatsApp. Here is my WhatsApp number. It will be great pleasure receive your message. Okay, about anything. Don't matter. Thank you very much, my friends. See you tomorrow with the other interesting news. Have a nice Monday afternoon or Monday night or Tuesday if you are watching this video right now. Thank you very much, my friends. Greeting everybody in America, Europe, Africa, Asia, Oceania, Antarctica, every countries in the world where speaking English. Thank you very much about your views. I am so happy about this. Thank you very much. See you tomorrow, my friends. Bye.